Today's September 19th. The Bucks waited till the last game of the series to finally get a win. They're still giving us something to talk about, though, I guess. Hey, it's Talk Like a Pirate Day. No, you're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Let's go. Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. You thought I was going to bust into a Pirates voice there, and I almost did, and I decided not going to do it. It's Talk Like a Pirate Day. You got anything for us, Jake? I'm Josh. This is Jake.
Yeah. I mean, you can't set it up like that and not even give it an effort. I mean, geez Louise.
I think I got out.
Yeah.
I keep saying I need to get that pirate laugh on my soundboard. I've got the sound. You know, the old one from the Jumbotron.
And there's times when you're laughing and you actually sound like him, too.
Yeah.
Without trying.
Yeah. Specifically when I start getting hoarse or if I have a cold or something like that.
Yeah.
So. Thanks for listening, guys. Here we are. Bridge to Buctober podcast. Hey. September 19th. Talk Like a Pirate Day. Pirates won a game. This is the problem. I was like ready to go. 3 straight losses. Upset, right? You had the bullpen blow a game, and I'm like, let's give it to them. Let's let them have it. And they win a game, and you're kind of like, I'm still a fan at the end of the day, and I like wins.
You know,
or in this case, win.
And I will be 100% honest. So I didn't get to watch most of the game today, right? I turn it on. It's 3-2. I look up, De La Cruz grounds out. I'm like, okay. When Chapman comes in, well, this is for Santana, scoreless inning, like no problem. And then not Santana. Chapman comes in and first guy, Donovan, just gives up a base hit. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. But I don't know. He gets the next 3 guys with ease. Not even, I think it was like 5 pitches. He got the next 3 outs. So good job.
Yep.
Well played.
We got it. We got Yarg. We got it. Okay, so we got Doug Smith trying to send a message here, and he just can't tell us what he is. And he'll send this, he'll retract the message. I can't even turn it off at this point. I can't click it off because it's gone now. I have to bring up another one. Anyway, Doug's here, so we're all happy.
Listen, we're fans.
Yeah,
right?
Thank you.
We're fans.
Thank you. I was waiting on that.
And because we're fans of baseball, we got to give it up a little bit for Shohei. I mean, geez Louise, this dude, 50-50.
Yeah.
First one ever, 50-50. But bro says, you know what? I'm going to clinch being 50-50 by going 6 for 6.
Nasty.
Josh, he had 2 doubles, 3 bombs, 10 RBIs. Like, come on, man. This isn't even fair.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Well, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Anyway, we're going to talk about Nick Yorke a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about Billy Cook, those young guys. A couple... maybe some injury stuff. And today in our positional coverage of where we're at right now, center field. So I have a nice little piece to it there.
And also just side note, Nicky G's clutch.
Nicky G's clutch. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we'll get into all that stuff. Skeens Day. It's just every start, right? It's every start. 6 innings, 4 hits, a run, a walk, and 7 Ks. a normal stat line for Paul Skeens. And I know we don't typically go deep into that kind of stuff, but what I wanted to say here is 21 starts, first 21 starts, lowest ERA since earned runs were official in AL and NL in 1913. 1973. Wait, it says lowest ERA in first 21. Oh, this is the list. He doesn't have the lowest, right? The list is in 73-74, which, by the way, Jake, spans over 2 years. Do you count that? That's it's 21 starts over 2 separate years. Steve Rogers had a 195, and this year, Paul Skeens 207. Do you count that over 2 years?
From a pitching standpoint, yes. From hitters, I don't love the carryover.
Yeah, because we like to give pitchers the come on. It's over 2 years. He's fresh. He's not wearing down at the end of the year. Like right now, you got Paul Skeens dealing with the most innings he's ever thrown, and he's still able to do this. I think there's something that counts for that. Yep, I think it's more impressive. That yeah.
Yep.
Listen, I got this new Pirates ball that we found underneath my couch, and
so it's not new.
Well, it's like new. You know what I mean? Like my other one. Actually, that's just a game ball. This little tiny one I have has this logo on it. So we got the new, you know what I mean? But it's new this year. This is that one that our mom got at Pirates Fest. I think this Harleen Garcia. But it's soft, and so I like holding this one now. But I looked down and I saw Harleen Garcia, and I'm picking at the what do you call it? The certification. It's a Harleen Garcia signature. I don't need that. Oh, you can't really remove it either. Golly, now I screwed it up. Oh, well.
Way to go.
Doug says 1913 was before the pandemic. Yeah, come on, man.
The last pandemic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My bad. I thought he was just saying everything before. Oh, man. An off-screen assistant for what? Is there somebody in here? No? I thought maybe one of the kids came in. When he says that. No, yeah. I don't. Yeah. I don't. Nope.
Handing you the different balls and stuff?
Oh, no. I see what you're saying. No, they're just hanging on the wall here, and I can reach the wall. Now I got this thing all sticky. I can't use this one. So there's that.
Jeez.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Let's get started here, man. As if Paul Skeens is nasty. He's unbelievable.
Here, take mine.
Yeah. Here, go ahead. Go ahead.
There you go.
Wait, it's on this side. Get it on this side.
Dude, I can't do that.
Over here. There we go. Thanks.
There you go.
Yeah. Ron's here. He says he does. His kid's stealing dad's root beer. Yeah. Actually, none of my kids are drinking root beer yet. They don't drink pop. They can't stand the fizzy. What are they? The buzzy, they call it. Buzzy water.
Buzzy water. I got some root beer tonight.
Yeah. There you go. Little barks. Yep. Little has kick.
It does not. It has bite.
It has bite. That's it. All right. We're on it today. Guys. So Paul Skeens, whatever. We lose the game. Matter of fact, I think he even suffers the loss in this game after giving up 1 run because the Pirates score 0 against Andre Palante. Again.
This dude, not even that
0.90 ERA against the Pirates in 3 starts now. Just terrible. And then you go into the next game, you get 1 run, and you're feeling, okay, we're not going to be able, we got a bullpen game going tomorrow. There's no way this team can salvage this series. And then Billy Cook, 3-run homer, by the way, first show homer. Let's go. 3-run homer to take the lead. Feeling good. Bullpen gives up 6 runs the next inning.
Should I be laughing at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where we're at in the season. Jake, listen, long term, are you worried about David Bednar? Long term?
No.
Still not.
I'm still not. I think he's going to spend some time this offseason to figure out how to quit tipping his pitches.
But it's not.
I think that's going to be huge.
And it's not just going to be that. I think there's a little bit of rest the body, get right physically, whether it's even the tipping pitches, whether it's just something physically that he's off on. I think that there's a way. The only thing that concerns me still is we still haven't seen him finish a season yet. Strong.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
So I'm a little bit concerned within the season. I think he comes back in 25. I think he's fine. Jalen Beeks, I'm not convinced that was like him and Brian De La Cruz. They couldn't have been worse moves at this point.
Yeah, I still think they're still out on De La Cruz. I think he's been awful since he's been here.
Right.
For sure. The dude's got a lot in the tank. I got to see more from him, especially like get him through the off season, get him back here, start fresh here. You know, I mean, he's got 20 bombs on a season. So
yeah, I mean, the thing is, and this is what we keep saying, right? There's control. So I don't think that he's a DFA candidate unless this team can find a real replacement that will push him out. Right? They're not just going to say we're going to take our hand to Billy Cook. We've talked about that. Billy Cook doesn't have the same type of power that you could get if De La Cruz figures it out. You got cheap power and it's big time.
Yeah.
He just has to, you know what I mean? You have to let it develop. And unfortunately, that's what you acquired at the deadline to try to push into the playoffs. It just doesn't make any sense.
You know, he had 18 home runs.
Right.
At the deadline.
Yeah, there was still a lot of holes, though. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like, you're still waiting for him to really blossom.
But you would have expected him to be at like 25 by now.
Yeah, you would think.
25, 26, not 20.
Yeah, you would at least, 24. PNC Park's going to change a little bit of that, but yeah, I get it. No, you're totally right. I don't say that to disagree. I'm just saying, like, yes, you expected him to hit, not his first 8 hits with the Pirates are going to be singles, and it's going to be 2.5 weeks
to opposite field. Too,
yeah, 2.5 weeks after he got here, he finally had his 8th single in right field. Yeah, that's the guy we went out and got. But yeah, I mean, I just think that here, Ron's saying the same thing. De La Cruz needs another year. And the thing is, he has like 3 more years.
Yeah.
So the thing is if the Pirates need to replace him, if he's bad enough, because the Pirates are supposed to be winning next year.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be a stepping stone year. And I mean, we think they overwon a little bit last year, right? That start in April was not who that team was. So they probably won, 5 extra games last year that they maybe shouldn't have. And so this year could have still been an improvement on that, but it just doesn't feel like it because they took a huge step back in the bullpen area. And so I just feel like that's going to be one of the biggest things is how they address this bullpen, because there's a question. I just asked you if you believed in David Bednar. Do you also believe in Carmen Mlodzinski and Colin Holderman? Or are those guys like, they've had one good year?
I think Mlodzinski is still young enough. Like, it's like I'm not ready to close the book on him for sure.
Well, I'm not saying you're closing the book on anybody. I'm just saying, are you worried about them? And are you going to rely on them moving into next year? Because I think there's a close the book and there's a rely. Like, this guy came into this year as he's got to be a 7th inning guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm keeping them in my bullpen, both those guys. Like, I want them in my bullpen next year. I don't know if I find somebody that can push them up in the game, then I do. Like, I'm not worried about moving them in the bullpen as far as where I want them pitching, as long as I'm filling the back end with better Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, right now you look at the bullpen, right, and you've got Holderman, you've got Majinski, and you've got Santana, who's actually come out of nowhere, right? That's another one where we can say, hey, is that something that we believe in too? But you've got Joey Wentz, Ryan Baracki, and Jalen Beeks, 4 lefties out there because you got Chapman. So you got 4 lefties in the pen right now, and then you just added Isaac Mattson. Congratulations for getting called up today. And so, that's your bullpen right now. And Santana has played a back-end role now because he's pitched his way into it. You've got Bednar. I didn't say Bednar. You've got Bednar and Chapman. Chapman's gone. So you've got Bednar maybe towards the back end, Santana towards the back end. And now, the problem is Holderman and Majinski should be back-end guys, and then you can plug in somebody else to get the back end good. We don't know if Santana comes back being this good again. We've only seen this for a flash in the pan, half a season type of thing. So you don't know what you have there. But essentially, if Majinski and Holderman could be your Mattson and Joey Wentz, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden you build, if you could acquire two legitimate arms for the bullpen. Now I'm feeling okay about it.
When's Moretta expected to come back?
Moretta will be back next year. That's going to be a part of it. Baracki will be gone. Some of these guys. Kyle Nicholas is not in it right now. Hunter Stratton, those guys, I don't know what Hunter Stratton's timetable is, but Kyle Nicholas hopefully will be back. Let's hope that that's not anything crazy. I guess we should say Kyle Nicholas has been put on the injured list with left side discomfort. So, I just don't. That's going to take some moves, and they're going to have to. It's going to be interesting to see how they attack it, because they could very well say, "No, well, we believe in Holderman and Majinski," and then they don't go out and acquire another right-handed arm. They go back and try to do another Chapman left-handed type thing to get a guy in the back end that's left-handed, and then just piece it together with some depth. And some guys like Dennis Santana, hoping that, him and Ben Heller and who was the other guy? There were several of them this year, right? Honeywell, and which I don't know why they didn't bring Honeywell back when the Dodgers DFA'd him. I don't know why we didn't just do that, but it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. I will say, because I asked you the questions, I'm not worried about Bednar except for the end of the season thing. I am worried about the other two. Obviously, if it wasn't obvious by what I was saying. I am, because we only saw it. Now, Holderman, great stuff. We understand that, elite stuff when he's on. But what we've seen from him is it took him a while to get here. I'm just not sure how much of it I trust. You know what I'm saying? And then for Majinski, we saw a sophomore year. And so there is a little bit of, which one is he? You know what I mean? Is he going to have the ability to punch back? Did the injuries early in the season actually play for both of these guys? I think that's a pretty good question.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I don't love took him a while to get here. I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't care how long it takes you to get there.
Okay.
If you figured it out, you figured it out. Just everybody's timetable is different. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's good. Pitt City What is worried about Bednar. He's worried. Listen, if you've been watching these games this year and you've been watching what he's done out there, I understand that.
Yeah.
I legitimately understand that. The thing about Bednar is he has a big enough track record to tell me that, especially after watching the Trevor May thing with the tip in the pitches and the fact that there's just been a couple of things and the stuff is all still there and it all still plays. If he can get back to throwing the curveball in the same tunnel as his fastball and not tipping his pitches, it's between those two things. I feel like, okay, we've got Bednar back, because the what was it? The fastball's got the best ride it's ever had on it. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff on the breaking ball and the splitter are still really good. It's just that he wasn't tunneling them well. And then the fact that he was tipping made it even worse.
And if you think he's not going to spend this offseason working on that stuff,
then
you're crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he's going to go to work this offseason.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so another side note here, Jake. Did you see Jose Altuve take his shoe and sock off on the middle of the field and get thrown out?
Yeah. There couldn't even have, like, I watched it. It is clear. The ball hit him in the foot. Like, there's no question. But, like, it didn't hit him hard. There couldn't have been a mark there. Like,
apparently there was. He was pointing that out.
Yeah.
The thing is if the Pirates would have done something like that, man, it would have been completely different, which I was a little bit surprised about, because I thought that Altuve with the whole Astros thing, even though I am convinced Altuve didn't cheat, but the rest of them, whatever. Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's when Altuve does it to me, I'm laughing. I think it's hilarious. Oh, yeah. I think it's hilarious. I think there are still people out there who hate Jose Altuve. That's fine. They probably didn't think it was funny, but guaranteed, if that would have been Billy Cook, he would have got the Will Craig treatment and he'd have been gone.
Yeah.
They would have ruined his career over it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, pretty funny stuff. What else we got here, Jake? Nick Yorke. We do the Billy Cook 3-run homer, but Nick Yorke gets his first major league hit this week and ends up just getting 3 that day.
Yeah.
We were doing bedtime. We were doing the whole thing. Does anybody have a word on Mike Taylor going into left field for Nick Yorke? Was that just defensive replacement late in the game? Did they say? Ron, that's great. Yeah. Audio listeners will have to miss what Ron just said. If you really want to know, check it out on YouTube. I'm not reading it. It's hilarious. So anyway, Mike Taylor, I would imagine a defensive replacement for Nick Yorke in that game. Is that right? I mean, he's 0 for 4 with 2 Ks, but but Taylor did not get up to bat. So I'm guessing that's what it was.
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything about how he pinch ran or anything. It just has him going in on the box score. And I missed it. When you said Mike Taylor's in left field, I was like, oh yeah. I don't know. I didn't see that. So I missed them say it on the broadcast.
Because, like I said, I turned it on late tonight because I got home from work and turned it on. And I just saw a pop fly out there. I'm like, oh, Taylor's in left field.
Yeah. Win the game today. Nicky G was a stud, but still 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Okay. So not like we got anything really that fixed.
Right.
You get a rare home run from Yasmani Grandal. All that stuff. Anyway, Nick Yorke, initial thoughts, man. Let's talk a little bit about him, and then we'll get into our center field stuff.
Yeah. I mean, this dude, to me, he's got a great approach to the plate. You can tell he's got a hit tool that's going to play. That I don't know how much power it's going to create, and I don't care.
Right.
Because if you're going to get on base for me, you got a spot.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling that a lot lately. The whole power versus, if you're getting hits, Ke'Bryan Hayes took a lot of flack for going to right field for so long, and it just seemed to be this big thing about pulling the ball and hitting it in the air. And at some point, dude, just hit the ball to right field. That's good baseball.
Yeah, I don't care how you get on. There's guys you want to damage from. There's guys you don't care. If you get damage from them, great. If you don't, great. But if you don't, get on base. Right. And
the thing is that, so if you haven't checked it out yet, yesterday I was on, I guess it released this morning, I was on the Bucko Banner podcast with Adam. And we talked a little bit about Ke'Bryan Hayes, so I'll save some of that. Go listen to that. But essentially, what it comes down to is this team has one need at this point. Just hit with runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what we need on this team. I don't care about, we can, if we can load a team full of guys who hit home runs but don't hit well with runners in scoring position, you're still going to score because you're in scoring position at the plate. And the guy at first is in scoring position. If you don't, then just cash in when guys get to second.
Yeah.
Just cash in more often, right? Just hit the ball, put it in play. I cannot say how many times we get guys on second and third, back-to-back strikeouts. Just can't stand it.
And this is what it comes down to for me. I'm watching the broadcast the other day. Forget who hit the home run. But it was our first home run. This would have been Tuesday night.
Okay,
First
Tuesday
home
night
run
was De La
since-
Cruz.
De La Cruz. Yeah, that's exactly right. De La Cruz hits a home run, and it's our first home run since Wednesday.
Yeah, almost a week.
If you're going to go that long, and I don't think you should ever go that long,
No.
but if you're going to go that long, you have to cash in with runners in scoring position at some point.
Yeah, you
Like,
can't.
You got to be putting things together.
1 for 8 in that game. 0 for 4 the game before that because you barely had anybody on base to begin with because of Cy Young Palante. Ron, you said that Greg Brown said it was precautionary. Precautionary for what? Did he? That's what I'm saying. I totally missed if he got hurt or if he slid wrong or to be honest, I don't know. I will go back to this comment, Ron, about Yorke and Cook. You're wary of Andy Haynes ruining them. Here's what I'll say about Andy Haynes as a hitting coach. One thing that we understand that the Pirates are doing, and I'm not sure why, and I don't know how many other teams are doing this, but Andy Haynes and Oscar Marine on the pitching side, they are the developmental directors of the organization. So everything in the organization is directed by Andy Haynes on the hitting side and Oscar Marine on the pitching side. So this is bigger than, hey, there's a guy at the major league level, our guys can't hit, this guy's got to go. It's bigger than that. When you want to say who's the hitter in the organization that's coming up, well, some of that goes to Andy Haynes as well, right? Because he's in charge of all of that. If Billy Cook and Nick Yorke are hitting, the one thing that we've seen is he's more or less going to leave them alone.
Yeah.
He just has no business to touch them if they're hitting. When they start to struggle, this is my biggest pet peeve of Andy Haynes. It's not about his game plan. Most teams want you to be patient and wait for your pitch, right? It's not about that. They're doing that game plan all the way down to Bradenton. It is not different, right? Some players, because you've heard Ben Sherrington say it's player-centric. What they mean is some players, they're not going to tell to do the same thing because they are better at other things, right? They're not going to do the one size fits all the way down. They're not going to do that. However, when you start to struggle at the major league level, your hitting coach, his job is to get you out of that slump. And I'm not kidding you. I don't think he's gotten anyone out of a slump as long as he's been there.
Right.
De La Cruz should be out of this slump. Rowdy Tellez had to go elsewhere to get out of the slump, which is totally fine. Like, he has a hitting coach. He's on a major league contract, right? Jack Sawinski can't get out of the slumps. And we say, well, Jack Sawinski can't get out of the slumps. Maybe it's Andy Haynes. He's been here for Sawinski's entire career. Why can't Key Brian Hayes, these lengthy slumps that he's been on, can't get him out of them? Mm-hmm. There's certain people that we watch struggle over a long period of time, and it's like, that's literally your job as the hitting coach. Now, I just said he has other jobs too, right?
Yeah.
But to me, the most important reason that he needs to go is because he can't get guys out of slumps. You know what I'm saying? You have a hitting coach in AAA that everything's coming from Andy Haynes, which really is coming from Ben Cherington, Andy Haynes, Derek Shelton, and the whole crew that's talking about what they want as a organizational philosophy. So the next guy is going to come in, he's going to have that same philosophy, right? Because it's all across.
Sure.
The difference is Andy Haynes is the guy on the Pittsburgh Pirates Major League roster. He's the guy to get him out of slumps. You go look in AA, and you got a different guy that's tasked with that. It's the same philosophy, but a different guy saying, I'm going to get you out of a slump. In AAA, you've got a different guy. Who was it just put? Bucko Mike. Jack's up to 247 in Indy. He was down to like 170 down there. And all of a sudden, Jack is coming out of a slump. Now, that one's multi-layered, right? They actually told Jack not to do what the team is wanting to do, and they wanted him to swing earlier in counts to avoid strikeouts because he strikes out when he's behind in the count. You took all his power away by doing it. We're not going to talk about Jack Swinsky right now. We're going to move on from that. But the point is yes, Andy Haynes does need to go. However, it's not that he'll ruin a guy. It's just that he'll never be able to fix him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, side tangent. Nick Yorke, I like a lot.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about. Nick Yorke, I like a lot. Okay. Bucko Mike, I mean, we're not even going here. The dude's still a
20
good
homer guy.
Yeah, he's playing again. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's playing again. Yeah, and Gap Power got Indy. It's going to come back. This is the beginning of Jack coming back. Next offseason, he comes back. I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe in him. Bucko Mike, why don't you throw out your comp here for Nick Yorke while we're talking about him. Dude, the thing I like about him the most is he is so old school in the box. He prides himself on getting dirty and going out there and playing hard. It just fits the mold for what you want to see here. I'm not sure where he's going to play, but I saw some good plays at third base. I've really liked what I've saw at second. I mean, not only just some good plays, but like the double play is really good.
I mean, that's what they say. That's his most comfortable position and probably, his best.
Right, for sure. So I mean, it's all around. It's very good. I like it. I like the old school approach. I like the dirty, the gritty play style. I like the fact that what I've seen is a good fielder on first or second and third base. And this is why I wanted you to say this, Bucko Mike, because you've been saying this to me now for a little while, and I'm all in on it, man. Freddie Sanchez 2.0 is what Bucko Mike is saying right now for Nick Yorke, and I can see it. I really can. And I saw it the most when I saw how he played third base. And I thought, second base, third base, base hits, gritty, constantly like just playing hard. It is. It's very similar to a Freddie Sanchez type. So I'm all in, man. I'm all in on Yorke. And I think that it's going to be real interesting to see how they manage this. And we're going to talk about all these different positions as we go in the next few episodes here. But it's really interesting to me. I'm a fan.
I gotta say, if Yorke sticks around, Triolo's got to go.
Yeah, if Triolo's not going to give us any innings at shortstop, right? Now the thing is, though, is Triolo. I know you're all about it, but he's doing well.
He's doing okay.
I understand that he had a game this week where he had 3 strikeouts, but we're looking. Last 30 games. That's not even a small sample, Jake. 30 games, 271, 375 on base. 438 slugging, 4 homers. It's even in the last 15 games, it's 294, 357, 431 with a couple homers. It's been a month now. And he did this to us last year too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He did this to us last year. So it's kind of hard to tell.
I get all that, but I just think you're going to get the same player, only like better out of Yorke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to say.
Kind of. The defense at third base from Triolo,
Yeah.
even though he looks a little awkward sometimes, is very good.
Yeah.
It's going to be better than Nick Yorke. Would you take a step down? Yeah, you'd take a step down to put a guy like Yorke in the lineup. I'm totally with you. But I think that if you could get him, if you could have Yorke on that bench for that depth to give Nicky G, and you're going to have to give Key Brian days off. And I was curious of whether that would be Yorke going to second and Nicky G going to third. But at this point, after seeing him play third, I think he can handle the position.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all in on that. I'm in, and I'm ready to start seeing a little bit of a different offense and a different roster going into next year. They cannot field a similar team with a similar bench and expect things to change. So I like the fact that Nick Yorke is here. Billy Cook, who I've told you week in and week out, since I went and saw them at Indy, I said I like Yorke more. Billy Cook is Connor Joe, who can play center field.
Yeah.
He's Connor Joe, add center field. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. No complaints there. So yeah, I'm there. Shared says move Hayes to short and Yorke at third. As much as that sounds great, the back for Hayes has to be healthy. He's not going to play every day, I don't think. If they want to keep him healthy, that's how they're going to utilize the bench next year, or at least they should, because there's nothing that Hayes can do, according to what everybody's telling me. There's nothing he can do to make things better. He's just going to have a bad back. There's no surgery that can fix it. He's just going to have to stretch and exercise and lift, which seems counterintuitive, but yeah, I don't know.
Lift correctly.
Lift with intent. And I'm sure they're doing that. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But there you go. Sherrod also says Cook takes Joe's role. Mm-hmm. Just right there. So anyway, we are talking center field today, and it's time that we get into that conversation. Okay. I think that, you know what? I just looked up and I saw my note, and I am going to throw something in before we talk center field. Andy Rodriguez with a homer in AAA from the right side. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's good. Andy's playing right now. Good stuff.
Like to see it, man.
All right, we're talking center field this week, Jake. And I got to tell you, perfect timing. O'Neal Cruz makes the catch that I feel like we've been waiting to see him make. Or he made, let's say it this way, he made a catch that we've been waiting to see him make since he's moved out there. Coming in on a fly ball, whether it's coming in, going out, I don't care. What I wanted to see is, could he get a read on a ball, go for it, and be able to lay out and make a play? Because if he can do that with his speed and his length, it's going to play really well in center field. Yeah. And he was able to do that today. Line drive, not an easy play. Came in on it, lays out, and you just got to think like the length when that guy dives. It just felt like a ball that not a lot of guys are gonna make a play on. At least not as what looked effortless.
Yeah.
And I think that go ahead.
Yeah, he got a good jump, a good read. The dive looked, fine. For 6'7". It looked fine.
Fine? I mean, did it not look good?
No, it looked fine.
I don't know what that means. You didn't like it? When you say it looked fine, it was like, what? Why even bring it up? Did it look sloppy?
It just looked a little sloppy to me. But
I didn't think so.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
This is fine.
No, I liked it. I feel like the gracefulness of baseball has gone a little bit to the side.
Dude, I don't know, man. I'm watching that. Other than like the roll afterwards, that's not ungraceful. Yeah. mute that. That's pretty smooth, man. Full layout, got a nice slide. He didn't land on his knees first. Look, boom. No, that's nice.
Yeah.
The dives that where you land on your knees first and all that stuff. No, I'm in on that, man.
Yeah, man.
Anyway,
No, I wasn't trying to.
It's funny that that's what we're on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this is an early thing, right? He's already said he's very comfortable. He's already said I'm not going back to short. What is it? I mean, the numbers are better at the plate, right? Or at least they're still really good at the plate, right?
Yeah.
What do you think overall going into next year? Like, are you, this is it? Like, we got it. We don't have to acquire a center fielder.
Yeah. I'm fine with him in center field.
Yeah. So since the move to center field, 284, 342 on base, 403 slugging. It's a 745 OPS. So the 403, right? We could use a little more homers. He has just the 1 home run, but he has 11 RBIs, 5 doubles, and he's 5 for 5 in stolen bases. This is from a couple days ago. But the thing is with those numbers, Jake, that included a 4-game stretch of an 0 for 16 and a 3-game stretch of an 0 for 10. And his last 10 games from this would have been, let me see, I was having this conversation. I don't know what day it was. The day before yesterday, right? So there's been a couple days. Well, he hasn't been playing till today. So what did he do today? He hasn't been in the lineup. So today he...
Not great, I don't think.
Not any extra bases. No, he was 0 for 3 with a walk, a strikeout. He was moving on the bases, but I don't believe he had a stolen base. He did not. So there you go. I mean, but it's his first day after a while. He also got rung up on a check swing that they just didn't show a replay of initially, so I didn't think that it was there. But anyway, he's the center fielder.
Yeah.
So let's talk about depth. Who goes after him?
I think you're going to have Billy Cook right after him. And then...
Being that he makes the roster.
We talked about Jack making a bounce back. Maybe he gets some innings out there. But for the most part, I just feel like it's going to be mostly him.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy. You're going to have him in the lineup most days.
I wasn't trying to take anything away from the actual catch.
No.
Right?
No. Yep, I know.
The play was made.
Ron's giving him a hard time here, saying
sure.
there was only a 20% catch, 20% chance to catch that ball, and he made the play. And so he's doing it that way. Doug's probably gone. Sorry, Doug's probably gone, but see you, Doug. If you get caught up.
Make a lot of plays in the major leagues these days that I just don't think look graceful. You can't take the actual play away from them.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and I'm never trying to. I just like the smoothness sometimes. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was good, but beauty's in the eye of the beholder, so. Billy Cook definitely second in the row. Like he just had nothing there, so we're good. Billy Cook definitely second in line, and with Jack Sawinski, if he's on that roster, I think they've got center field covered. I think that there's no reason, literally no reason, why this team should be looking at center fielders unless they want them to play left field. And as I look at weekly position, corner outfield is next week. We've got a question from Pitt City What. B-Ray to first base talk tonight? We could touch on it here in a minute. Let's make sure that we're finished with center field here. I haven't looked much at the free agent list. It was my understanding that maybe center field is someone who could be acquired at this point, right? Via trade, rather. And so that was something that I thought kind of looking forward, but I was upset with the move because I thought, or still think, Jake, that it's a cop-out because they were supposed to acquire a center fielder. What I've seen in a very short time from O'Neal Cruz in center field, I initially thought you're going to put him out there. He's going to be okay. His eventual home is in right. I could see it going for, a 5-year stretch of this dude playing center field. He's still young. He's going to get bigger, but he's so fast, I could see this being a long-term solution in center field, long-term in baseball terms. 3 years, right? I mean, that's a long-term solution at this point. You don't really look past 3 years. There's no point to. You'll be looking at those years next year and the year after. You'll be looking beyond 3 years. But I think you're not paying attention to what's up right in front of you if 3 years isn't considered long-term. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. But I think he's good out there, and I think I think they're done in center field.
Yeah. I think this was an easy topic.
I think so too. And initially I thought that corner outfield, we were going to spend all of our time in right field. But I think that, if you want to preview a little bit into next week, we've got a couple minutes here. I think there's going to be a real conversation this offseason about Brian Reynolds.
Yeah.
Because once again, now here's the thing though. Here's the thing that I get my skeptical eyes on and my tinfoil hat and all that stuff. I don't want to see Brian Reynolds with a move to first be a way that they say, well, we've got a De La Cruz and Jack Sawinski platoon in right field. Now we've got Billy Cook in left field. We'll move Brian Reynolds to first base. We've got Cruz in center. IKF can play short. We've got Nick Yorke, who can play around a little bit, even help us in the outfield. They'll somehow keep a hold of Connor Joe in this process so that he can play some first base to give Brian Reynolds a day off. And you end up with this as your team without acquiring anyone that costs any money because we're the Pirates and we're smart.
Yeah.
And then where do you spend your money? We already went over the rotation. There's no money to be spent there. I mean, there is, right? We've seen that. There is, but it's to replace these players that I just named.
Yeah.
There has to be upgrades to this offense. And that's with an S at the end of it. I don't care where they end up. What you're doing is giving yourself the versatility to be able to say, okay, we can move this guy or we cannot move this guy, speaking Brian Reynolds, if we can fall into a first baseman or fall into an outfielder, right? And, Ron brings up Pops moved left to first. So B-Ray can for sure. And I will say this too. Willie Stargell had a great arm.
Yeah.
He had a great arm. And they didn't, I think Stargell was a little older than Brian Reynolds was when he made the move, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think. So if what I'm saying here is just because somebody has a good arm doesn't mean you can't move him to first base.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So Matt says if somehow they find a Marte, they'll stick him in left field. Now, I think what he's saying here is Marte is naturally a center fielder, could have handled center field on any team, did handle center field on the Pirates, but first and foremost, he played left field. I think this is a good point. If they can find a guy like that and play him in left field, I think they win, except for the fact that I don't think there's a Marte on the free agent list. And defensively, you might be able to find one, but not what he was able to contribute on the offensive side. And so I think you may end up with more of a traditional left fielder in order to bring in offense. And that's what I would kind of hope for. I know that Tyler O'Neill's a guy that's out there, and he's a 30 bomb guy, but I think there's going to be some questions about length with him, about injuries with him. As much as he lifts weight, he's a risk for injury. Those muscles have been through a lot. They're going to get pulled. And so there's a little bit of stuff there, but if Tyler O'Neill is something that they do this offseason, I think it can be downplayed a lot, and I think it could be good. I think that actually might be a good move. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. We will talk more about left and right field next year, but I will say I am very intrigued at the potential to move Brian Reynolds to first base. I think he has the athleticism to make the move. He's a guy who likes to play every day. So I like that.
Just a quick side note, I just looked it up. Stargell played first base at 23 years old.
He played like exclusively?
He played first base basically his whole career. But he played outfield with some first base.
Right.
And then he went full-time first base at like 35.
35. Okay. Well, so
but he played like 50 games a year at first base.
So Brian Reynolds played some first base at Vanderbilt, though.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so he's played first, but at the collegiate level.
Yeah. Well.
So there's a little bit there. Like, he understands that. And according to Derek Shelton, he's been talking about it for years. And he finally bought a first baseman. Now, mostly what he was saying. Anything I can do to improve my athleticism for the outfield, I'm willing to do. But then he's also like, I wouldn't be against moving to first. I think there's a little bit of Brian Reynolds to be like, yeah, I could save my legs. I could have a longer career.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I could play more games and still have a longer career if I'm, it's less risky.
Be stronger at the end of the year.
Yeah, he just smashed into a wall the other day. Actually, right before he smashed into the wall, the ball hit the wall and then hit him in the face off the ricochet as he was still going back for it. Right after he slammed into it, the ball punched him in the face.
Take that.
So basically the thing is like, yeah, when you feel that, you got to think he's like, yeah, first base sounds real good right now. He's out there like this. Flexing his jaw, touching his face. Red mark, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think he'd be into it. Ron, thanks you for taking a look at that. Did not know it was that early for Pops playing first. So, yeah, I feel like if you're a left-handed thrower, which Reynolds is not, I feel like you're a left-handed thrower. Like, to me, listening to anyone like, let's say, Jack Sawinski, if he's never played first, I'm shocked. Like, why are you a left-handed thrower and you've never played for never? What if you've only what about Little League? What'd you do? Play short? Yeah, Bush League probably did, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Probably played shortstop in Little League as a left-hander because the coach didn't know what baseball was.
Could have just been,
the best player.
Strictly an outfielder.
Right. Yeah. He had to have played first at some point. But what do you really count? Like high school? That's really the first time that you say like, well, I played some first in high school.
Yeah.
If you played it before that, it doesn't count. So I get that.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Next year, like I said, or next week, we'll talk about corner outfield and kind of cover that and what we look like there. Other than that, very disappointing series against the Cardinals. Very disappointing for me. Mm-hmm. You're going down to Cincinnati. Man, again, you have to win the series.
Yeah.
You've got to salvage something of this season. You were supposed to split with the Cardinals. Now you have to win a series against these teams just to beat last year's record. You have to win a series, not only against the Reds. You got to take care of business against the Reds, which is what I call it. I think you should be able to beat them, especially when you got Keller, Jones, Skeens going, right? Now, they've got some decent pitchers going for them too, but it's not Hunter Green or Nick Lodolo, right? But Rhett Lauder's the real deal, and so he's going one of those first 2 days, I would assume. But you got to win that series. I think there's like a part of me that says you have to win the Skeens game, but like nothing's really have to at this point. Like you stink. So nothing's really a have to. The record stinks. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway, Ron, Ron played third and pitcher. Had some scouts on him until he got stupid and discovered girls and Jack Daniels. So that'll do it. That'll get the scouts away. Anyway, got to take a series here. Well, you got a pick here, 2-1. We taking it?
I don't have a pick.
Okay, you don't have a pick.
That's.
I'm going 2-1. You win the Skeens game, and you just got to take one of the other two. And you're not going to win both of them because this offense won't click.
I would love to say I agree with that, but I feel like Leeds just are not safe right now.
5 home runs in this series by the Pirates.
Woo! They are going to the Little League Park, but
I'm trying to speak something into existence here. Looks like my audio is not recording anymore. That's fun. I've got backups. We're good. Anyway, yeah, we're good. I always get nervous and stuff like that happens. I need to play some music. We need to get the heck out of here. Win a series. I'm going to the game on Sunday.
And we're going to 2 games next week.
2 games next week. We'll talk about that on Sunday. I'm going to the game Sunday, so I'll try to be back by 9. We're going to be pulling it in and, going for it. But
yeah.
We'll have a good time down there.
That stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So, all right. Let's go, Bucks.
Let's go, Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks.